been assigned to welcome everyone here as usual. I don't know why I thought I was going to escape it this time, but I want to welcome everybody back to the Diaspora Gist. It's a pleasure and an honor to share this time with you. And we have a wonderful guest with us here today, but I'll leave my brother to do all the introduction.
I've known Marionette. This is Marionette. And I've known Marionette for how many years?
Let's see, 20 at least.
Yes, at least 20 years. Marionette is married to my childhood friend, well, my brother, I should say.
Yeah.
And Marionette knows me like my sister, because there was a time I actually even lived with Marionette and her husband for like 4 years when I was back in Nigeria, and we shared a lot of experiences.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very interesting that we should actually find out from her point of view, because she's been a diaspora and re-diaspora again.
So I think he forgot to introduce Marionette in a very good way. She's African American.
Yeah, oh yes.
She's not Nigerian at all, but no, let me rephrase. She's not Nigerian by birth.
By birth.
But she's everywhere Nigerian after that.
So maybe we should just go on and let Marionette introduce herself as well.
I think so, because that's the problem with British people. They're not tolerant.
There we go again.
We know how to appreciate people, you know. That's the problem. I mean, I've been teaching him since I was born.
At least today, I want to hear English from the traditional African American and the.
He's been really insulting us Americans. We need to show
and the English from the pseudo African American.
What do you mean? And I was laughing too. I can you imagine? I thought he was going to make fun of himself, and I was
like, this is very, very, very. It's extremely important. So Marionette, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I think the reason why, the first thing I think I probably want to ask is, what was your introduction to, how did you meet Wale? Wale is my friend, by the way, yes.
Okay, so
You met here, isn't it?
We met in the States,
okay.
Met in Maryland, and we met at church.
See?
And,
one of the good times that church works. Okay.
No, wow. We will not go into that one.
No. Funny story. Okay, so I had dated I think a couple of other, I wouldn't even say dated, because I'd been introduced to a couple of other African men not necessarily from Nigeria, other places. And I was so put off. So put off.
I know, trust
and
like
I was
always perform.
But I'm just saying, you know. So I attending a church, a fairly new Christian, and I'm past 25.
Oh yes, we don't discuss age.
Past 25.
Yeah, we just give like ranges.
We always give ranges.
Between like 20 and 50, we're good with.
Yes.
Okay.
Or 20 and 60.
All right, but I have no problem with age, but I'll just say, you know, at that point.
Yeah.
And, you know, hadn't been attending this church for a long time. Fairly new Christian. This was probably the third church, just looking for a church home. And I walked into church one day and, you know, saw Wale, and he's never heard me say this. But I said to myself, Lord, do not send that my way.
And he did. I don't know how to say. God is always contradictory.
Hold on, guys.
He's never
heard this before, so we need to package this and sell this to him for information.
No, these are the kind of things. You see, this is what you men do to us. How could you not have told him this?
Not our fault.
It was because the other two experiences that I'd had, one thought that I had to be taken care of, and you know, African American, the neck starts rolling. You're going to take care of me? No. You know, and the other one was so standoffish that I was just like, okay, that's not going to. So I had the two extremes, and I just put it all in one thing and said, no.
But was he looking at you then?
No. I didn't know him from Adam. I didn't know him. Exactly. I stereotyped.
So immediately you knew you liked him because that's the only way.
No. I just said, don't send that my way. I even had, it was even like I was forecasting what would happen, because even as a new Christian, I didn't know anything about prophesying and speaking into this situation or that situation. It was none of that. I just, no, not for me. And I went on my merry way. And it wasn't until about probably 2 years later 2 years. We even served on a ministry together.
So he joined the ministry because of you?
No.
He didn't. I don't know, but I'm Nigerian. I don't know.
No, I didn't see anything coming. I didn't see anything coming.
You know, maybe we need to bring him in.
No, that's my guy.
He was very smooth. He was very smooth.
My guy is stealth. He's stealth.
Very stealthy. In fact, let me tell you how stealthy he was. He started calling me on the phone and gave me some. Now that I look back on it, I was thinking, Marionette, really, you didn't pick this up. He started calling me on the phone and said some line like, "Yeah, well, and it may have been true. We've been told to, kind of give people a call, see how they're doing.
Nice one, my brother.
And so I'm calling you. How you even got my number? I have no clue. Someone must have given it to him. I have no idea.
And it was your own number he chose to call regularly.
But you know what? This is the thing, though. Did we even have cell phones back then?
No.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to reveal.
No,
it was pagers then.
Yeah.
For you guys, it was pagers then. For you guys.
And so we just started talking, and I specifically told him we were on the series that we were discussing at church was about relationships, and I said if I see a relationship coming, I'm heading in the opposite direction.
No, you said that to yourself?
I know, I said that to him.
Oh, for real?
Yes. If I see a relationship coming, I'm heading in the opposite direction.
Okay, this was how many months after this was like?
Oh, this is couple of years.
Yeah, so what you had that experience?
No. It wasn't about at that point, I wasn't even, like I said, don't send him my way. So I wasn't even looking at him like that.
Yeah.
So there was no interest on my part whatsoever. Just a brother in the Lord calling a sister in the Lord, and
Nigeria,
and that's how it started.
We are so good with brother in the Lord things.
Yeah, so
please don't listen to him, please.
Brother in the Lord, it's still one of the best ways till today.
But still, he didn't reveal his hand. He never revealed his hand at all. And this went on for months. And then we started doing, ran a team ministry together, along with some other, late 20-somethings,
But didn't other people tell you that you guys...
Nobody was even on that vein.
So your perception of him was different from the reality. What was because from
exactly. He was a nice guy. I was still not interested, but I got to see him in a setting that was not about a relationship.
So can I ask, what was the perception you had then?
Exactly, it was the perception.
African man who wants to come and control my life. That was it. Okay. That was it. That's why I said don't send that my way. That was it. Wasn't about whether you were African, where you were from. It was just I don't want anybody controlling my life.
But this is the interesting thing. Where did you get the perception of that control? Was it from that experience? From that
exactly. Yeah. Because I had no real interactions with Africans at all,
and there was no one else anywhere. You didn't have to have. I'm not saying you had to have a direct interaction, but there was no one else where you got that kind of
no.
So I want to ask you something, Ayo. Africans are brought up. Let me know if I'm wrong. We have our camera guy here, so nod or say no if you're right or wrong. That the men should take care of their.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I
knew.
But
so what is the difference between taking care of and controlling?
That's exactly where my
that's what your question
my question was, yes. Because we are brought up, and that no matter what she says is exactly the same thing. That what they don't like is exactly what other women say they don't like about us. Is exactly what helps us with being the best at what we do.
Really, but
as Nigerian men.
No, but is it?
So the problem I have with African American people is they say African. Marionette is typically Nigerian now, but she's still saying the African man.
Because and I said that because those two other experiences that I had, I don't know where they were from.
Yeah.
So I say African. So I'm not one of those Americans who will say I'm going to Africa. Where in Africa are you going?
Exactly.
Okay,
that is not me.
I still want to say, what is the difference?
Okay.
Between someone taking control of your life and someone taking what's
come on? There is enough abuse in this country to know the difference. So
if you don't have that frame of reference, that's what you think.
Yeah, that's what I want to, because what is control? It's control. I mean, what do you define as control?
What this guy was saying.
The guy,
the other guy, and the fact. Okay, let's just put this out there now. My husband is younger than I am.
Okay.
So
and you've been married for how long?
26 years.
So guys, it can happen. You can marry someone slightly older than you, or way older than you,
and considering his age, at the time we got married, I should have been like, have you lost your mind?
Yeah.
You know, but that other guy was younger than me as well. So number one, you're coming from a perspective you haven't even lived as long as I have, and now you're trying to tell me, well, what time are you coming home?
Oh, that's the control.
Oh, that's the control bit.
Right.
Popping up on my job. What am I doing? Who are you talking to?
So why did you control everything you did?
Yeah, I mean that's the road that he was starting to. It wasn't like, oh baby, exactly.
So there's a difference between concern and control.
Exactly.
Compassion and control.
Exactly.
Empowering and what's opposite of empowering? Grammar.
No, but I mean, I understand where that comes from, and I think it's a function of how we were brought up as men. Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, it's a function of how we were brought up as men. We once you start to invest your time, your emotions, your finances, whatever you think you're investing.
But control. So
whatever you invest. It can manifest.
A lot of control in Nigeria.
It can manifest as control. I get it. But it's about what you think you've invested, and I think the problem about it is that if you do that with an African American woman who is independent and they're always independent, there's a difference with the typical African woman that was also brought up to believe that.
You know what? I want to say maybe I've been blessed growing up because I never saw that in dad.
That's possible.
I never saw dad try to control mom.
That's true.
Now, of course, I'm not talking about
but there's a lot of custom and cultural stuff too.
Yeah.
That she would have known certain things to do.
No, I understand that.
But you would have seen that.
I understand.
And by the time
we both said that my dad is someone that you would even do something that is wrong and he doesn't expect you to say sorry. I mean, he won't hold on to offense if you don't say I'm sorry. I mean, he's very, my perspective.
But it's different.
It's pretty different. I keep saying that. Growing up, I didn't know
that was
a lot of things until I was outside. They were very close. They were like best friends. So I didn't see that. There was a mutual, because I love you, I'm going to do this.
Right.
Not necessarily that you must do this. That's what, looking at it from the outside. I don't know.
Well, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
But it was different, and that's probably one of the reasons why I always still say that I went the other way, because I thought it was so different. No, but it's true.
It's true. He was
I thought, and this is the problem, was that I had friends who were they came from the typical patriarchal family, but I still thought they had more fun than and I keep going back to this, because dad and mom were too close and they were so loving and they were best friends.
And that's not what you saw in the other
places. You couldn't reconcile that.
I couldn't reconcile that, and more importantly, my life was difficult because I couldn't. If I wanted to go to parties,
you couldn't play one.
I couldn't get that, and that is a big problem.
You can't. You just can't.
And it was easier in other families that had patriarchal.
That once one person said something
the father was in control, that the probably doesn't know what's going on.
How do we deal with situations where you have that kind of thing and we don't? Thank God for God's grace, it turned out right. Exactly. But seriously, this is a real issue where what you think is a great role model has a lot of things that isn't that great. Yeah. How do you deal with that? How do you really deal with that? Seriously. So
if you look at it from this point of view, Marionette, how would you describe? First of all, let me you moved to Nigeria in 2001, and I remember
2003.
Because I remember 2003 because it was 2002. I was in China when Wale called me and said he was thinking of going to either China or Nigeria. And I told him, and it was telling me, he said GE was thinking of taking him back to, and I said, I'm in China now, forget this China.
Abi?
Go to Nigeria. And lo and behold, about 2 or 3 months later, he said, you guys were going. How did that feel when you heard that you had to move to Nigeria?
I was ecstatic.
Yeah,
ecstatic.
Why?
See, because he had come to me with the same thing. So I've got these 2 opportunities. One is China, one is Nigeria. And I remember one of his bosses had been in China and had told him about how he was looked at as a freak and all this. And we had been to see his sister in Canada, because I'd had IO.
Yeah.
We had been to see his sister in Canada, and there were Asians. And I'll say Asian because they could have been Chinese, they could have been Japanese or whatever. They wanted to snap picture of my son.
Why, he looked so different?
No, because he was black.
Yeah.
So they had never seen a...
And that's in Canada. Yeah.
In Canada. So when Wale came and said, these are the 2 options, I said, absolutely not. I will not go to a country where I will be a freak. I'm already black here, and it's a problem. Why don't we go back
where everyone is black?
Exactly.
Back home.
Exactly. Go back to your home where your children can see their cousins all the time, and not every 1 or 2 years, get to know their grandmother, better, and we're in the majority. Why? Let me look at a white person as a freak. So it was an easy decision.
It was so easy.
Very easy.
So you were just
in my mind, I was gone. I was already gone. You say go, I'm there.
I'm going to Tony, your first daughter is going to come in soon, so we'll talk about that.
So I have a question though. So what were the things that you liked about Wale, like the Nigerian or the African? Like what changed your mind?
Okay.
I like gist, so please give me the gist.
So the gist was, once I figured out very late in the game
that the guy had been
the guy was,
that's my guy. That's my guy.
He was laying the foundation.
Seriously laying the foundation.
See, everything is a strategy.
Exactly.
And that is the school we went to, Igbobi College. That was our school. That school. I have to plug that school. That school. We are the baddest guys.
Okay.
He had seen that the right way wasn't going to work.
We church people, we're Christians. We're the bad. We're smart. So
Christians.
I wasn't smart because I didn't pick up on
nothing about being Christian.
I didn't pick up on
nothing
he went
about.
to church. No, people say, good things happen in church. I have to give you come on now.
The guy knew what he was doing.
And he had God that gave him wisdom on how to do it.
And he just took his time.
Exactly. And he was not enough to listen to God's will and say, chill out, just do this. You see?
I mean, I got to see his character. Apart from, any relationship, I saw how he was dedicated. I saw how he was, punctual, on time. He was responsible.
Punctual, Nigerian.
I mean,
punctuality. What is the meaning? Grammar. Because he tells me that it's our dictionary now. Punctuality. Nigerians learn to be punctual.
Oh, wow.
7 is 7. No Nigerian time. I just have to put that in.
So then, in short, he was not a real Nigerian. Is that what you're trying to say?
I didn't say anything.
No,
what he
did, let me tell you something. He got into a role play. He knew what he was doing.
No. I mean, the thing is that this was his character. He did.
But it is. I know that.
I didn't get the sense that this was putting on airs for me.
And it's still like that now, so it was not a role play.
He will leave.
In fact,
it's the calmest. I know now. No, I know. It doesn't.
So guys, jokes about I need that the punch. This Nigerian. I hope it's really better. I don't know how bad it is.
I don't know.
I don't do Nigerian time.
I do Nigerian time.
Come on.
We are going to go back to that.
Is that what? Okay, we'll do that.
Nothing happens on time in Nigeria. I'm sorry.
See, but that's why.
Yeah.
You have to become like them.
Yeah. But I wasn't prepared for the classism that is in Nigeria.
All right.
that I was not prepared for.
I always say
Let
this.
me ask you. Okay. So where was the first experience of classism when you got to Nigeria? Because it's very important to understand how you transited from being the classy.
So before you answer that question,
Nigerian.
I always say this because people always say, "Oh, this person is racist. That person is racist," and I've always gone back to say that racism is a form of discrimination, and there's discrimination everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So if you face any discrimination, the best way is to strategize on how to overcome it, and nothing is just peculiar to you.
But with Marionette, this does not.
No, I'm just trying to point
our
it out.
classism was different too.
But yes, this was you thought it was a form of discrimination too.
No.
I didn't.
No.
No, but people seeing you will discriminate against you.
No, but that is further down. Right now, I'm talking about exactly what that experience was when she actually first went to Nigeria. What was your
First
expectation
impression or what?
What
Perception.
happened? And then further down the line, how did the reality hit you about what was going on?
I think the way people treat the house help and the staff.
Yes.
That part I
Yes,
struggled with.
So we're talking about how you saw people that employ other human beings that were under them, especially maybe what they would call the lowest class, house helps. What would call house helps
Security,
here?
drivers.
That's exactly why I put it that way, because when you got into Nigeria, you had security. You didn't just you had armed security. You were living,
which I did not want.
Yeah, but you.
I mean, put it this way: I didn't. Initially, it was okay because I was in a new place. I didn't know, and this was the protocol of the company.
Yeah.
Everywhere you went to the market, you went to church, you went
You had
for a
at
party.
least 4, 6
you know,
armed guards all the
and
time.
I especially didn't like it when we went to parties that were not on
the
Ikoyi
the
side.
island.
When you went across,
Yeah.
and people saw this whole contingent.
So
and
the
I would
Ikoyi
hear
red
people
elitists.
talk. Yes. But when you went outside of that environment where this was the norm, and then you go to a party somewhere and you hear people talk. Okay. This big man, this thing.
No, because I mean, when they first came to Nigeria, I must say that even I used to think to myself, I need to be with Wale all the time, because I love the fact that they had 2 trucks of.
He loved it.
With 2 trucks of mobile policemen, always because of them with attention. AK-47, man, shit. It was good.
So,
I didn't care who cared what Marionette was thinking then.
But that's part of the problem we have, though.
What? No, I agree. It's not normal. It's not normal.
It's not even necessary.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not even necessary. You know, I mean.
But treating
but treating the people like
you were nothing.
Yeah.
But did you ever experience the fact that when you finally settled, because we'll talk about your friends later on, but we're now talking about the classism. Did you ever think that there's sometimes a cause and effect? Because sometimes when you treat these people really nice. And
I'm getting to that.
Hold on a minute.
I'm getting to that.
I have a theory with that. This is what I'm saying.
Let her get to that. Let her get to that first. Yeah.
So, I treated everybody the same. Security, my house help, and I only had one. I had a cook and a nanny.
Yeah.
The nanny was brought to me by my mother-in-law. I kept that nanny until my children got too old, and then you were there
Esther.
when she got fired.
Yes, that's
I was devastated.
Yeah, that's true.
But Wale was already like, it's time for her to go. This is a good enough excuse, blah, blah, blah. But
that's true.
in the whole 8 years.
She was with you for 8 years.
8 years. Meanwhile, everybody else
is
switching. This person stole
can
this.
I ask you, how did you manage to have her for 8 years? What were the things you
Because I did not treat her, I didn't create work for her.
You see, that's the problem.
I didn't. She came in the morning. to get the kids ready for school.
And that's what she did.
And then she cleaned up a little bit and she went back to her room. She wasn't the cook.
You know what, I love that, because that's what I've noticed about house help and the way people treat house help.
So what happened? No, I still want to get.
No, let me finish that, because that's a major problem. We treat house helps like they don't have a life. Like, you know, you tell them to come take care of the kids and you want them to do every single thing. You can't even afford to see them sitting down. You think we must be doing something. And when you when you're treated like a slave, why should they treat you like? They will treat you like someone they need to get rid of or get the best out of and move on.
Okay.
And I think it's time we change that. And sometimes, I know that sometimes your experience to me have been different, but some of those people have been taught to think that way.
Right.
In fact, I had a friend of mine at the house help told her that, you know, you're a good madam. But, you know, people are being mean to me. So, you know, I know I have my problems. Sometimes when you get people freshly, without having all those nasty experiences with other people, you know, sometimes, and they behave better. And I always say this: who wants to be a house help for life? So if you have a house help and you're not giving them a plan, or you're not helping them get a better life, why should they stay committed to you?
Okay. So let me burst her bubble.
Exactly. She's all this stuff that she's talking about. I'm thinking to myself,
let me burst her bubble.
This is now you see the problem I have with my sister. She comes with all this very nice. I'm just waiting.
So you can tell that I'm the nicer one of the two. Just saying.
Go on, my name is tell her. She doesn't know anything.
Within the year, they showed me. They showed me.
Yes. Treating them nicely.
I treated them with respect. And Esther was different.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Esther was smart. Esther allowed me to have a life. Okay. Because my son was type 1 diabetic. Who in Nigeria had heard about
juvenile diabetes?
Juvenile diabetes. Yeah. Doctors didn't even know what was going on, and I was able to train Esther to take care of him so that I could do something other than having this boy at the hip.
Checking all of that.
Then, you know, people started showing themselves. And I can remember the first was security guard. Just useless. Very useless. And then I can remember going to school one day and my driver, to this day, the first driver, Denson, still sent me a text. Ma, you are the #1 person. Today, this morning.
Really?
Today. I have not opened it because I don't want him to know that I'm, every time he messages me that I but I can see, Ma, you are the #1 person. I can see that much this morning.
But it proves my point though.
But we start going to school, and I guess, and I'm friendly with all the other staff and blah blah blah, and one person, one mother, Nigerian mom, she says to me, Marionette, you know your husband's position. I'm going to show you how to be the madame, the MD's wife. Your dress, you cannot come like this. You know, you have to do this and that. And then how you interact with people. I said, okay, you know, I want to learn. Me, this is no experience.